Hello, and thanks for tuning in. Today we're checking out the Southeast Asia Gallery at the National Museum of the United States Air Force. Stick around to see some iconic planes and hear the tales behind them. Cessna's O-1 Bird Dog began its Vietnam tenure in 1961. Deployed by the U.S. Air Force and Army as a spotter plane, its short takeoff and landing capability enabling it to operate from rough airstrips near combat zones throughout the conflict. It flew countless missions over the Mekong Delta and Central Highlands, equipped with flares and smoke markers to guide close air support, enduring gunfire and harsh weather until phasing out in the early 1970s. The O-1G, an improved model, supported Special Forces and South Vietnamese units, its low-tech reliability making it a linchpin in the war's fluid frontlines. This O-1G Bird Dog offers a glimpse into the critical support it provided to ground forces through its low altitude, slow speed, and STOL capabilities. The Cessna O-2 Skymaster joined Vietnam's air war in 1967, tasked by the Air Force with reconnaissance and forward air control (FAC) duties. Its ceiling of 18,000 feet and enhanced payload allowing it to operate over diverse terrains from the DMZ to the Mekong Delta through the early 1970s. Pilots used its side-by-side cockpit to spot Viet Cong movements, calling in strikes with precision while dodging gunfire, a role that made it a frequent target but vital to U.S. and South Vietnamese efforts. The O-2A, with its civilian Cessna 337 routes adapted for combat, flew thousands of sorties, supporting everything from troop extractions to B-52 raids before retiring as the conflict wound down. The O-2A Skymaster provides a tangible connection to its role as a forward air controller aircraft during the Vietnam War, showcasing its unique twin-boom design and military significance. The North American Rockwell OV-10 Bronco joined the Vietnam War in 1968, flown by the Air Force, Navy, and Marines, excelling at forward air control and light attack roles with a payload of up to 3,600 pounds, targeting enemy supply lines and positions through the early 1970s. Its twin turboprop engines and short takeoff and landing performance allowed it to loiter over battlefields like Quai Son, coordinating strikes and delivering firepower, often at treetop level despite risks from small arms and anti-aircraft guns. The OV-10A variant, with its spacious cockpit and ejection seats, became a favorite for crews needing quick reaction and durability, serving until replaced by helicopters and jets post-1973. This OV-10A Bronco stands as a testament to its versatile service in counterinsurgency and forward air control missions during the Vietnam War. The Beech Cu-22 arrived in Vietnam in March 1969, deployed by the Air Force to enhance the Igloo White program, circling above the Ho Chi Minh Trail to pick up sensor signals and relay them for analysis, a mission it flew until its phase-out in 1970. Though built for unmanned flight, they were piloted in combat due to technical limitations, with 6 YQU-22As and 27 QU-22Bs produced, facing high attrition from engine failures and operational strain. Its contribution to electronic warfare provided critical intelligence on enemy logistics despite its short service life and replacement by more robust platforms like the C-130-based relays. This QU-22B, a restored example of this rare bird, highlights its specialized avionics and compact design, offering a glimpse into its covert Vietnam operations. In Vietnam, the Helio U-10 served with the Air Force starting in 1965, flown by units like the 5th Air Commando Squadron where it supported unconventional warfare with its ability to land in just a few hundred feet. It flew low and slow over jungles and villages, equipped with loudspeakers for PSYOPs missions or carrying light cargo, often under the radar of North Vietnamese defenses through the late 1960s. The aircraft's simplicity and STOL performance were assets, but its vulnerability to ground fire limited its use in high-threat zones, ending its combat role by 1971. Restored in its wartime tan camouflage, this U-10B showcases its high-wing design and single engine, reflecting its role in psychological warfare and reconnaissance over Vietnam's rugged terrain. North American's T-28B Trojan, originally a U.S. Navy trainer, entered Vietnam service with the South Vietnamese Air Force, VNAF, in 1962, adapted for counterinsurgency combat to strike Viet Cong targets with bombs, rockets, and machine guns. Supplied under the U.S. Military Assistance Program, it flew low-level attack missions supporting ground troops, often piloted by American advisors or VNAF crews, continuing through the mid-1960s. Though rugged and reliable, its slow speed and lack of armor made it vulnerable to ground fire, leading to losses before more advanced aircraft like the A-1 Skyraider took over its role. This T-28B is displayed due to its historical importance as a close air support aircraft flown by both U.S. and South Vietnamese forces, with its 1962 combat debut marking a key evolution in the Air Force's Southeast Asia strategy. The Teledyne Ryan AQM-34L Firebee, a jet-powered reconnaissance drone, entered service with the U.S. Air Force in the late 1960s, flying high-risk missions over North Vietnam to gather photographic intelligence without endangering pilots. Launched from DC-130 aircraft and recovered mid-air by helicopters, it conducted over 3,400 sorties during the Vietnam War, providing critical data on enemy defenses and troop movements despite heavy anti-aircraft fire. Its small size, stealthy design, and ability to operate at low altitudes made it a key asset for the 432nd Tactical Drone Squadron until the program wound down in the mid-1970s. This AQM-34L Firebee's nickname, Emmerling, was a pun on the last name of Lieutenant Colonel Edwin Emmerling, who was involved with its early combat missions. Bell's UH-1P Huey entered Vietnam's air war in 1967, operated by the Air Force's 20th Special Operations Squadron, where it conducted classified missions, including resupplying remote outposts and supporting CIA-backed operations until 1971. Its single-engine design, paired with upgraded power and armament like M60 machine guns, made it a nimble gunship for low-altitude strikes and extractions, often painted in camouflage to evade detection. Though less numerous than Army Hueys, the UH-1P's specialized role in special ops earned it a reputation for daring and resilience in the conflict's unconventional battles. The museum's UH-1P is configured and painted to appear as the UH-1F flown by Captain Jim Fleming when he braved intense enemy fire to rescue a small reconnaissance team that was about to be overrun by a much larger enemy force, for which he was awarded the Medal of Honor. The Cayman HH-43 Husky entered Vietnam with the Air Force in 1964, focusing on crash recovery and medical evacuations near U.S. installations, its coaxial rotors allowing precise control during emergencies in the conflict's initial stages. It flew short, critical missions, often under fire, to extract pilots and suppress flames with foam, supporting air operations until its replacement by more robust helicopters like the HH-53 by the late 1960s. The HH-43B variant, though lightly armed and unarmored, proved its worth in dozens of rescues, earning praise for its reliability in chaotic conditions. The museum's HH-43B Husky captures this history, its compact frame and firefighting gear a testament to its unsung service in Vietnam's early air war. In Vietnam, Sikorsky's CH-3 Black Maria served as a workhorse for special operations, transporting troops and equipment to remote sites while also supporting early drone recovery missions for the Air Force. Its twin-engine design and spacious cabin allowed it to adapt to diverse tasks, from inserting special forces teams to retrieving Ryan Firebee drones, a novel role in the conflict. The CH-3E's upgrades, including better navigation and defensive systems, made it a reliable asset in the war's unforgiving skies. This Black Maria, painted flat black, hence the nickname, was used for highly classified special missions. Sikorsky's HH-3 Jolly Green Giant joined Vietnam's air war in 1965, performing the Air Force's most dangerous combat search and rescue missions, braving North Vietnamese defenses to pluck pilots from crash sites amid monsoon rains and enemy ambushes. The HH-3E variant, with its twin turbines and amphibious capability, excelled at long-range recoveries, often refueling from HC-130 tankers to reach remote areas, continuing this role until U.S. withdrawal in 1973. Its crews faced relentless risks, several were shot down, yet their persistence turned the helicopter into a legend of valor and survival. This HH-3E Jolly Green Giant reflects this heroic service, its weathered frame and rescue markings a poignant reminder of its Vietnam exploits that include the rescue of 27 American airmen. The de Havilland C-7 Caribou proved vital in Vietnam, supporting operations like the 1968 Battle of Quai Son by dropping supplies to besiege troops from low altitudes and slow speeds. Starting as the CV-2 Army asset, it became the C-7 key Air Force tool after 1967, often landing on airstrips too short for other planes, delivering everything from ammunition to beer. Its service highlighted the importance of STOL aircraft in unconventional warfare, with some captured units even used by North Vietnamese forces post-1975. This C-7A Caribou is a Southeast Asia combat veteran that later served with the Air Force Reserve. Fairchild C-123 Provider arrived in Vietnam in 1961, initially tasked with Operation Ranch Hand, where UC-123B models sprayed Agent Orange over dense jungles to disrupt enemy operations. Its short takeoff and landing capabilities made it ideal for delivering supplies and troops to remote outposts that were inaccessible to larger aircraft. By the war's end, it had flown thousands of missions, proving its durability in harsh conditions. This C-123K Provider, nicknamed Patches, bears the scars of its Vietnam service with 567 patched bullet holes. This Douglas A-1E Skyraider served as a multi-role platform, capable of delivering bombs, rockets, and napalm while absorbing heavy enemy fire, making it a favorite among pilots for its reliability in the Vietnam War's harsh conditions. Its large wingspan and slow speed allowed it to operate from short, rough airstrips supporting special operations and earning a reputation as a flying tank that could linger over battlefields for hours. This A-1E bears the scars and pride of its service with the 602nd Special Operations Squadron, its weathered paint telling the story of missions flown in 1968. This is believed to be the only surviving fixed-wing Medal of Honor aircraft. This Douglas A-1H Skyraider wears the battle scars of its 1969 service in Vietnam with the 56th Special Operations Wing. It stands as a tribute to the aircraft's role in the Sandy mission profile, using its 420mm cannons and vast array of underwing ordnance to protect rescue helicopters and strike enemy positions. Its large, straight wings and bulky fuselage, painted in a mottled camouflage scheme, reflect its design for slow, precise attacks rather than speed, a rarity in the jet-dominated Vietnam War. The aircraft represents Captain Ronald Smith's A-1H, the proud American, as it appeared during his search and rescue mission that rescued a downed F-4 Phantom crewman near a North Vietnamese airfield for which he was awarded the Air Force Cross. Introduced under the Combat Dragon program, the Cessna A-37 Dragonfly saw its baptism by fire in Vietnam, where it supported ground troops and escorted helicopters, proving its worth with no losses to enemy fire during its initial deployment. The aircraft's simplicity and low cost, roughly a quarter of an F-4 Phantom's price, allowed the U.S. to supply 254 Dragonflies to South Vietnam, many of which were captured and used by the Vietnamese People's Air Force after 1975. Its service extended beyond Vietnam, with the A-37B variant serving as an observation platform for forward air control with Air National Guard units until the late 1980s. This A-37A stands as a prototype-turned-combatant, its markings honoring its role in the war's early jet attack experiments. LTV's A-7 Corsair II, nicknamed Slough, short little ugly fella, was a carrier-based Navy design adapted for the Air Force as the A-7D, proving its worth in Vietnam with advanced avionics like a heads-up display and an inertial navigation system. It flew punishing missions against North Vietnamese targets, including the Thanh Hoa Bridge, and supported rescue operations with its M61 Vulcan cannon and extensive weapons load, often outlasting faster jets in loiter time. Corsair IIs remained in service through the Cold War, with Guard units deploying it for close air support until the early 1990s, when it was phased out for multi-role fighters. This A-7D showcases its 1972 service with a 354th Tactical Fighter Wing, its faded paint and 6 hardpoints telling the story of a workhorse from Korat Air Base, Thailand. The North American F-100 Super Sabre roared into Vietnam in 1964, tasked with bombing and strafing missions, its sleek design and afterburning engine enabling rapid strikes against North Vietnamese supply lines and troop concentrations. While effective, it suffered high attrition rates. Over 240 were lost due to its low-altitude attack profiles, which exposed it to small arms and anti-aircraft guns, phasing out by 1971 as the war evolved. The F-100F variant excelled in guiding other aircraft as a MISTI FAC, forward air controller, or performing as an iron hand performing anti-SAM tactics, adapting the jet's capabilities to Vietnam's shifting demands. The museum's F-100F, a two-seat variant, showcases its Vietnam legacy, painted in its wartime camouflage and equipped for training in wild weasel missions. Beginning in 1964, Republic's F-105 Thunderchief excelled at high-speed, low-level strikes and targeting North Vietnam's industrial and military infrastructure, often under intense anti-aircraft fire and SAM barrages. The F-105D, introduced with improved radar and navigation, flew the majority of these missions, carrying up to 14,000 pounds of bombs, more than many World War II bombers, and became a symbol of U.S. air power until its combat role tapered off by 1970. Its pilots faced grueling odds, with the aircraft suffering the highest loss rate of any U.S. jet in the conflict, yet it delivered critical blows to enemy logistics. This F-105D Thunderchief, a veteran of these dangerous runs, showcases its battle-worn design, preserving the legacy of the Thud in Vietnam skies. In Vietnam, the McDonnell Douglas F-4C Phantom II joined the Air Force in 1965, flying its first combat sorties with the 12th Tactical Fighter Wing, pounding enemy supply lines and troop concentrations with up to 16,000 pounds of ordnance. Its two-seat design, pilot and weapons systems officer, enabled precise strikes and occasional air victories over MiG-17s and MiG-21s, though its lack of agility made it vulnerable in dogfights until 1970s upgrades arrived. The F-4C logged thousands of missions, supporting troops and bombing runs before phasing out as the war progressed, its crews earning accolades for resilience under fire. The museum's F-4C is painted in its Vietnam-era camouflage, standing as a preserved icon of these early missions, its radar nose and missile mounts reflecting its wartime role. The Northrop YF-5A Freedom Fighter, first flown in 1959, stayed in the U.S. for demonstration and testing, but its production offspring, the F-5A, saw limited Vietnam service starting in 1965, where they supported U.S. and South Vietnamese forces with close air support and training missions until 1967. During the Scoshy Tiger program, F-5As operated alongside American advisors, proving effective in counterinsurgency roles, though the U.S. soon relegated them to South Vietnam's Air Force, which flew them extensively against North Vietnamese ground targets into the 1970s. The YF-5's role was indirect. Its 653 test flights refined a jet that became a key asset for Allied air forces in Vietnam, even as U.S. pilots transitioned to more advanced fighters. This YF-5A Freedom Fighter commemorates its role as a Cold War-era testbed, offering visitors a look at the precursor to a jet that equipped over 30 nations, including South Vietnam during the war. In Vietnam, the Republic F-105G Thunderchief took on the Wild Weasel role starting in 1966, using its speed and upgraded avionics to locate and attack SAM batteries, a job that demanded flying low and slow into heavily defended areas. Its introduction marked a shift in tactics, as it countered the growing menace of Soviet-supplied SA-2 missiles, protecting bombers during operations like Rolling Thunder and Linebacker through 1972. The aircraft's high loss rate, reflecting its perilous duty, didn't diminish its success in knocking out radar sites, earning it a fearsome reputation among North Vietnamese defenders. This F-105G Thunderchief is credited with 3 MiG kills while serving with the 355th Tactical Fighter Wing in Thailand from 1967 to 1970. General Dynamics F-111 Aardvark joined Vietnam combat in 1968, introducing a new era of strike warfare with its automated navigation and bombing systems, though early missions revealed flaws that cost aircraft and paused its use until 1972. Returning for Operations Linebacker 1 and 2, the F-111A flew from Thailand, striking bridges, SAM sites, and supply depots with unmatched precision, its low-level ingress thwarting enemy radar through 1973. Its success, achieving a high mission completion rate with minimal losses, highlighted its evolution from a troubled start to a reliable asset in the war's closing phases. This F-111A Aardvark reflects this journey, its cockpit and weapons bays offering a glimpse into its pivotal Vietnam service. The B-26K Counter-Invader was reborn in the mid-1960s as a special operations platform, entering Vietnam service with the 1st Air Commando Wing to disrupt North Vietnamese logistics with its devastating firepower and long loiter time. Its 8 nose-mounted machine guns and ability to drop flares, bombs, and napalm made it a feared sight over the Laotian Panhandle, though its aging airframe limited its operational life to just 3 years. After racking up missions in 1967 through 69, The counter-invader was phased out as jet aircraft and gunships took over, marking the end of the invader's combat legacy. This B-26K reflects its 1968 service with the 609th Special Operations Squadron, a restored icon of the last piston-engine bombers in U.S. combat. In Vietnam, the Boeing B-52 Stratofortress's D and F models dominated strategic bombing from 1965 to 1973, flying over 126,000 sorties and dropping more than 2.5 million tons of bombs, targeting everything from jungles to Hanoi's industrial zones. Operating in formations called cells, these bombers unleashed devastating bombardments, such as during Operation Rolling Thunder, though their predictability made them vulnerable to North Vietnamese air defenses, resulting in 18 combat losses. The B-52's role peaked in December 1972 with Linebacker 2, where its relentless strikes crippled enemy infrastructure, though crews endured grueling 12-hour missions and the constant threat of MiG-21s. This B-52D Stratofortress reflects its service with the 7th Bomb Wing, its black underside and faded markings a silent nod to its thunderous past. The Martin B-57 Canberra, an American-built version of the British English Electric Canberra, entered Vietnam service in 1964 with the 8th and 13th Bomb Squadrons, flying from Bien Hoa Air Base to strike Viet Cong targets with bombs and napalm. Initially tasked with low-level daylight raids, it shifted to night interdiction missions along the Ho Chi Minh Trail, using its speed and 20mm cannons to disrupt supply lines despite vulnerability to ground fire, which claimed 38 aircraft by 1972. Its versatility shone in Operation Rolling Thunder and later as a pathfinder, dropping flares to guide other bombers, though it was phased out of combat by 1969 as jet fighters like the F-4 took over. This B-57 reflects its 1966 service with the 8th Bomb Squadron, its weathered paint and 4-wing pylons capturing the essence of its Vietnam tours. The McDonnell Douglas RF-101C played a key role in Vietnam beginning in 1961, executing Operation Pipestem and other missions to photograph North Vietnamese defenses, often outrunning pursuers at supersonic speeds to bring back vital film. Its service peaked during the war's early years, providing imagery that guided bombing campaigns, though its lack of armament left it vulnerable to the growing threat of surface-to-air missiles by the late 1960s. Phased out in 1970, it left a legacy of bravery and technological prowess, having flown some of the conflict's riskiest reconnaissance profiles. This RF-101C is a survivor of Vietnam skies, offering visitors a look at its battle-worn frame, embodying the era's aerial reconnaissance challenges. The EC-121 Warning Star was a modified Lockheed Constellation that began its Vietnam service in 1965, providing airborne early warning and control under the College Eye program to monitor enemy aircraft movements over North Vietnam. Flying long missions from bases in Thailand and South Vietnam, it used its powerful radar to direct U.S. fighters, warn of MiG threats, and prevent friendly fire incidents, significantly enhancing air combat coordination. By 1973, the Warning Star had flown thousands of hours, adapting to evolving threats despite its vulnerability to enemy jets and anti-aircraft fire. The museum's EC-121D Warning Star, once part of these missions, stands preserved with its distinctive radar dome, showcasing its critical role in Vietnam's aerial battlefield. The Douglas RB-66 destroyer began Vietnam operations in 1965, deployed by the Air Force to counter North Vietnam's growing air defense network. Its electronic countermeasure suites blinding enemy radar, while photo reconnaissance variants scouted targets through the early 1970s. It played a key role in operations like Linebacker, flying from Thailand to suppress SAM and AAA threats, though its large silhouette and subsonic speed led to losses. Some crashed, others were downed, over hostile territory. By 1972, the RB-66's aging airframe gave way to more modern jets, but not before it logged thousands of sorties, shaping the electronic warfare tactics of the conflict. Restored in its wartime configuration, this RB-66B showcases its camera bays and sleek jet design, reflecting its role in capturing critical imagery of enemy defenses from bases in Thailand until the early 1970s. During the Vietnam War, the MiG-17 served as North Vietnam's primary interceptor starting in 1964, flown by skilled pilots trained in the Soviet Union and China, who exploited its maneuverability to challenge U.S. air superiority in brief, intense engagements. The MiG-17F, an upgraded model with an afterburner, clashed with American F-105s and F-4s, often emerging from cloud cover or low altitudes to surprise larger formations, contributing to dozens of victories until the war's end in 1973. Its lightweight frame and lack of radar made it a tricky target, frustrating U.S. missile-reliant tactics and forcing a return to gun-based dogfighting. The MiG-17's effectiveness in combat prompted the U.S. military to develop advanced fighter training programs, reshaping aerial strategies during the conflict. The MiG-21 joined the Vietnam War in 1966, serving North Vietnam as a high-speed interceptor that disrupted U.S. bombing campaigns, exploiting its agility to outmaneuver heavier American fighters through 1973. The MiG-21PF variant, introduced with enhanced radar and missile capabilities, flew from bases like Noi Bai, engaging in quick, deadly strikes against Rolling Thunder and linebacker formations, claiming numerous victories despite its short range and vulnerability to missiles. Its small silhouette and rapid climb rate made it an elusive target, forcing U.S. tactics to adapt to this flying dagger of the North Vietnamese Air Force. The MiG-21's deployment in Vietnam, notably during Operation Rolling Thunder, forced the U.S. to counter with advanced radar and missile-equipped fighters, escalating the technological arms race in the conflict. That wraps up our tour of the National Museum of the United States Air Force's Southeast Asia Gallery. What an incredible journey through history. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments which aircraft was your favorite. See you in the next video.